All right, my week 3 picks. Thursday nighter, we got Philadelphia visiting Green Bay. Green Bay is -4.5. All my point spread line numbers, all of that is from Bet365. I don't know, that's the site I use. It's the site I like to go to for my gambling. I like Philly to cover the spread, but Green Bay to pull out the win. I just don't know how to read Philly right now. Green Bay, their defense has been impressing me so far. I'd like to see how they handle the Eagles, especially a beat-up Eagles team. If they can roll through the Eagles this week, I'm going to be completely sold on the Packers defense. We'll see what happens. Aaron Rodgers is looking good. Should be an interesting game. I expect the Thursday nighter to be close. I don't think the Eagles will get rolled. I don't think Green Bay will cover the spread, but I think that Philly could be looking at a 1-3 start, which will be absolutely disastrous for them. But Green Bay, I like to win the game and pull it out. Carolina, +5 at Houston. Houston's favored by 5 points. Kyle Adams, another start for Carolina. He looked pretty good in Cam Newton's absence on the weekend. Texans protect Watson once again, just like you did last week. I like the Texans to win and cover the spread in this one. Young quarterback making his second start. I don't see him putting up 2 good starts in a row, similar to the Giants and Jones, which I'll get to in a few minutes with that pick. They're a bit further down the list. So I am taking Houston and the points in that one. Cleveland, Baltimore. This game will probably be a push. Baltimore's favored by a touchdown. I see Baltimore winning by about a touchdown. The game's in Baltimore. I think Cleveland probably can do enough to keep it close. I don't think they've gelled. I don't think they're coming together too good. I wouldn't be surprised if Baltimore rolled, but at the same time, I've got them picked as a touchdown right now. So I'm going to go with Baltimore to win and cover this spread. Cleveland is going to take them time. They've still got a rough stretch of games coming up ahead of them. And will they combust within the dressing room? That's a big question that I'm excited and waiting and looking forward to finding out the answer to. We will see very soon, I think, especially with OBJ. Lot of character and a lot of egos in that room. So I'm going to keep rolling with Baltimore. I just love this team so much, as I've told you guys every week. Washington at the New York Giants. New York Giants are at home, -2.5 point favorites. McLaurin off Washington. He's impressed me. 16 receptions, 257 yards, 3 TDs. Washington got their first win on the weekend. I like them to get their first win on the weekend versus the Giants. I like them to not only cover the spread as dogs, but I like them to roll into New York and straight up beat the Giants. Without Barkley, Jones in his second start, I just think I just don't see him getting it done again. I don't like these young QBs in their second starts, especially coming in after the season has started, not getting the full training camp, week 1, week 2 out of the way. I just don't like the situation much, so that's my personal opinion on it. Like I always say too, it's your money. You guys got to choose what you do with it. I'm just giving out my opinions, a few facts and stats to help you guys and guide you guys along the way. But when it comes down to it, trust your gut. That's a number 1 rule of thumb to me. And never bet more than 10% of your bankroll on any single wager. That way, you won't run into as many problems or go broke as fast or try to play catch up by making a large bet on your next one if you happen to lose your last one. Never bet more than a maximum 10% of your bankroll on any single bet. Just my personal rule of thumb that I try to stick to all the time, and it's worked out pretty good for me so far. I think it was a great move by New York starting to Jones on the road last week, especially in Tampa Bay. Not the strongest team, showing they can compete, but not really a team that I feel is going to threaten anybody. So I think it was a situation that would set up well for Jones in his first career start. Going back to New York, like I said, I like Washington in this game, straight up win. Next game, LA Chargers at Miami. I don't really have to say much except for what the spread is. -16, the Chargers are favored by. I'm going to roll with that high number. I think Miami has quit. The Dolphins are averaging, 5.5 points per fucking game on offense? They've quit. I will not be picking Miami probably all year. I don't care what the numbers are that they throw out there. I am taking the Chargers by 16. enough with that game. Indy, a touchdown favorite, hosting Oakland. Oakland, just waiting to move to Las Vegas, baby. And I'm going to roll with Indy in this one. Jacoby Brissett and that offensive line with the Colts has shown me that they can handle the pressure. They can get it done without Andrew Luck. And it's not like Brissett is going to replace Andrew Luck and be able to do all the same things he has. They're definitely different skill sets. But Brissett can definitely manage a game, definitely rack you up a lot of wins this year, especially in that division, which is a total toss-up in my mind. I like Houston to come out ahead, especially with Luck retired, but Indy should be able to compete, and then Jacksonville as well, and Tennessee. So, Brissett, he could get Indy a lot of wins. I'm going to take them and the 7 points in this one. Kansas City, I think they keep rolling. Mahomes rolls. Detroit took advantage of a shitty and shaky Philadelphia Eagles squad that was a little bit injured, but you can't blame injuries on losses, especially with all them drop passes. That is not injury related. I just think KC's too strong. I think Mahomes rolls again. I think he goes over 300 yards passing again. I wouldn't be surprised if he tosses another 4 touchdowns. Detroit's defense did force a lot of turnovers, but I think a lot of that was the ineptitude of the Philly players and Philly's offense. So I'm going to roll with KC, take the 6 points, even though it's in Detroit. I think Kansas City gets the win again. 3-0 versus 3-0. Divisional rivalry. New England Patriots, Buffalo Bills. No real logic when betting against Bill Belichick and Tom Brady for the last 15 years. Except traditionally maybe Miami, because they tend not to show up so well when they go down to Miami in recent years. This year, definitely a different story with Miami quitting. But against Buffalo, going into Buffalo, at least they don't have to go into Buffalo in December. Not that it would make much of a difference because they both play in cold weather cities. I'm just going to roll on a hunch and pick Buffalo in this one. Just because I think that Buffalo's going to win this, and all the Bills fans and Bills media is going to overreact and say the Bills can win the division, and all the Patriots and a lot of Patriots haters are going to say, oh, the Patriots are done now. Brady's done. They lost to Buffalo. They didn't cover against the Jets without their top 2 quarterbacks, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just going to love the overreaction because none of it will be true. New England still is the cream of this division. I just think the Bills are on a real nice roll right now. Coming home after playing in New York 2 weeks, I think the Bills can pull off a little upset here. It's not like New England traditionally embarrasses them in Buffalo. I'm just rolling on a complete hunch. I don't think the Bills are a better team than the Patriots, but I am going to pick the Bills in the upset on the money line, which obviously means I'm taking them to cover the touchdown spread that's out there in New England's favor. Tennessee +4 in Atlanta, who are 4-point favorites. Atlanta, I don't really have a read on either of these two teams. Tennessee blows out Cleveland. Derrick Henry runs wild. You think the Titans are going to be back. Atlanta, they're up and down this year. Matt Ryan, Julio Jones. You think there's so much fucking talent. How are they not winning more games? So I am going to roll with Atlanta to win this game. Tennessee to cover the spread because I just can't get a feel for these two teams. If this game was in Tennessee, I'd probably pick Tennessee to win and Atlanta to cover the spread because it'd probably be Tennessee +3 or favored by 3 or 4. So it would be reversed roles. So I'm going to go the home team to win, which is Atlanta. Tennessee takes care of the spread as the underdog. Next game, Tampa Bay at the LA Rams. This is another one where I like the Rams to win by about a touchdown. It wouldn't surprise me if they won by 10, but the spread is 9 points. I don't really like the big spreads that much, so I'm rolling with the Rams to take care of business at home, but Tampa Bay to keep it close enough and cover the 9-point spread. Seattle visiting Arizona. Arizona, 5-point home underdogs to Seattle. Seattle just lost to New Orleans on the weekend without Drew Brees. I think this game is going to be a close one again. I think Seattle edges out Arizona, which means I'm taking Seattle on the money line, Arizona to cover the spread. I don't think they'll lose by 5. I think this is going to be between like a 1 or 3 point game. A field goal wins it at the end for one of these two teams. Obviously, I'm hoping Seattle since I'm picking them, but it really wouldn't surprise me which way this game went. Minnesota visiting Chicago. Bears, 3-point favorites. Well, sure. neither offense or neither quarterback has shown they can really do much. Has either one of them even had, like, how many passing attempts for them? It's been run game, run game, run game for Minnesota, and the Bears have relied on their defense to get the job done all season so far. Sorry, my mouth is getting dry. I think that Minnesota will go into Chicago and they'll take care of business, similar to how Green Bay went in week 1. A low-scoring affair. The Vikings win like 13-7, 17-14. I'm going to roll with Minnesota to win the game straight up and cover the 3-point spread. Jacksonville visiting Denver. Denver is 3-point favorites. Von Miller and Chubb have a combined 0 sacks this year. Jacksonville's D and Gardner Minshew have been doing enough to get the W. I think they continue to do enough to get the W. Here in Denver. Not a strong team. I don't really like the Denver Broncos much this year at all. I think Jacksonville will get it done. I'm picking them to win straight up, which obviously means I like them against the 3-point spread as well. Dallas at New Orleans. Dallas is a 2.5-point favorite on the road in New Orleans. I like the Saints to win this one. I just think Kamara will get the job done again. They'll control the time of possession enough. And might be pretty even in time of possession. I just think New Orleans being at home, I'm rolling with the home team in this, especially home dogs. I love home dogs in evenly matched up games. I will roll with them most of the time. There's the odd exception, of course. So I am rolling with the home dog at a low number, New Orleans, to get straight up win and cover that spread. The Monday Nighter, Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. Here's another tale of two teams. Injuries and inconsistency, zero imagination, lack of creativity on both sides of the ball. Pittsburgh 4-point favorites. Another game where you can flip a coin at who's going to win, who's going to cover, but I'm going to roll with Pittsburgh to win the game, Cincinnati to cover the spread. I see this as being another game that comes down to the wire. Even when one of these teams is good and the other is bad, it's a very, very fierce division rivalry in that AFC North with Baltimore, Cleveland, Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh. And anytime any of those teams play each other, there's a lot of dislike, a lot of hate's a strong word, but I'm going to use hate. And these teams play fierce against each other all the time, usually tighter games. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh to win the game, Cincy to cover the spread. Should come down to a field goal at the end. Anyways, those are my week 4 picks. Looking ahead, guys, I hope they turn out good. I hope your bets turn out good. Peace.